presented by 11M Cars. In the heart of the 1950s, America was shining. The war was over, the economy was booming, and the country was in love with two things: cars and Hollywood. And if there were ever two icons that embodied this era of sparkle and sophistication, it was Marilyn Monroe and the 1955 Cadillac Eldorado. The year was 1955. Dwight D. Eisenhower was in the White House. Elvis Presley was breaking into the mainstream. Disneyland had just opened its gates for the very first time, and somewhere between a drive-in movie and a jukebox spinning Rock Around the Clock, America was falling head over heels for luxury, status, and style. At the center of it all was a woman who needed no last name: Marilyn. Marilyn Monroe was not just a movie star. She was a movement, a symbol, a fantasy. Blonde bombshell, yes, but also a clever woman navigating a man's world with softness and strength. She had just wrapped the 7-year itch, and that iconic scene over the subway grate would soon be etched into pop culture history. She was elegance wrapped in vulnerability, a walking paradox. And if you were to assign a car to her essence, only one name makes sense. The Cadillac Eldorado first hit the streets in 1953 as a limited production convertible, GM's way of flexing its post-war innovation. But by 1955, the Eldorado wasn't just a concept car for the elite, it was a symbol of arrival. Let's break it down. The 1955 Cadillac Eldorado convertible was a marvel in motion. Long, wide, and dripping in chrome, it came with all the bells and whistles that only money could buy. The front grille gleamed with attitude, the tailfins hinted at a jet-age fantasy, and the wraparound windshield screamed modern design. Only 3,950 units were produced that year, each one hand-finished with Cadillac's highest attention to detail. The price tag? Just shy of $6,000, which, adjusted for inflation, made it a car for Hollywood, not Main Street. It was big. It was bold. It was unapologetically American. And under the hood, pure power. Beneath that long, sculpted hood lived a 331 cubic inch OHVV-8 engine. This wasn't just about looks. It had muscle, too. The 1955 Eldorado packed 270 horsepower, paired with a 4-barrel carburetor and GM's Hydromatic automatic transmission. This beast could move, gliding like a dream down California's Pacific Coast Highway. It wasn't built to race. It was built to cruise, to glide, to whisper class at every intersection. Cadillac engineers fine-tuned the suspension for comfort, smoothing out even the roughest roads, making it feel as if you were riding on air. The power steering and power brakes came standard, just like air conditioning, electric windows, and an automatic trunk release. It was the future, and yet it felt timeless. And then, there was the style. Let's talk details. The 1955 Eldorado came in colors like Alpine White, Bahama Blue, and Mandan Red. But the crown jewel, the custom-painted Eldorado Gold, fit for a queen of the silver screen. Inside, the cabin was wrapped in leather so soft it could melt in your hands. Dual-tone dashboards, gold-trimmed accents, and curved glass made the interior feel more like a luxury suite than a car. The radio, signal-seeking, the seats, power-adjusted, the vibe, undeniably glamorous. Even parked, the Eldorado looked like it had somewhere to be. Which brings us back to Marilyn. Now let's be clear, there's no confirmed photo of Marilyn Monroe behind the wheel of a 55 Eldorado. But close your eyes for a second. Can't you see it? Top down, blonde curls in the wind. Sunglasses on. Red lipstick flashing in the rear view. Maybe she's heading to a private screening in Beverly Hills, or slipping away from the studio, humming along to the radio. The Eldorado matched her energy, equal parts glamour and grace. Both were beautiful, yes, but both were more than just a pretty face. Marilyn, like the Eldorado, was built on precision, complexity, and undeniable presence. You couldn't ignore her, even when you tried. 1955 was a defining year. Television was taking over living rooms. James Dean's Rebel Without a Cause was lighting up theaters. Rosa Parks would soon refuse to give up her seat. And America, hungry for image, freedom, and voice, looked to Hollywood and Detroit to define what was cool. And what was cool was Cadillac. Owning an Eldorado wasn't just about transportation. It was a statement. I've made it. You didn't drive it, you arrived in it. And for the stars, it became a natural extension of their persona. Clark Gable, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra. The Eldorado was the car of the elite, of storytellers, of icons. And Marilyn, she fit right in. Fast forward nearly 70 years, and the 1955 Eldorado still turns heads. At classic car auctions, they fetch six figures. Restored models gleam like they just left the showroom. Collectors chase them, photographers shoot them, dreamers imagine themselves behind the wheel.